How's it going, guys? aRenG Life here, and today we're going to be talking about a new set that is about to drop called Echoes of Silence. Now, this new set is going to be a mini box, so it is going to have support for a few different types of decks. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about those different kinds of decks just to kind of inform you guys on whether you should drop your gems on this set or not. Regardless, I am going to be dropping gems on it because, or maybe even money, because I got to show off the cards, man. I got to show off all the new stuff, but let's go ahead and get underway. So just to begin, we're going to be talking about more or less some of the best cards in this set. I guess what better place to start than the URs? We only have 2 URs in this set, starting with Spear Dragon. It's a 4-star, 1900 monster that you could just summon, and it also deals piercing, so it has a bonus effect on top of its already being strong. It's an already strong monster. It's 1900. You can just summon it, especially in like the Kaiba Peak Performance type decks or something. If you do use it to attack, it is changed the defense position at the end of the damage step. I mean, that could be good, that could be bad. I mean, it does have 0 defense, so that's kind of lame. I mean, it's probably going to die. But if you have a lot of cards like Windstorm of Itaqua, Econ, that benefit this card to begin with, then you should probably be alright. I mean, it is still a pretty good card. It's also a win, so I mean, it's got that support, man. I think this card is pretty decent. A lot of people are definitely going to be aiming for this card. Next up, and probably, I think, is going to be one of the best URs just because it makes its own deck and it's going to be really, really OP. We're talking about Silent Magician level 8. I know we have seen Silent Magician level 4 in the game. I forget who used it. I think Yugi would use it, like normal Yugi, not Yami Yugi. When you would go up against him, he would use Silent Magician level 4. But we are finally getting level 8, and level 8 is a beast, and not saying that he's like a beast type. He's obviously a spellcaster because he's a Silent Magician, but it is insane what this card is. I'm gonna go ahead and read its effect because this card is crazy. Alright, to start off, it does say, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by Silent Magician level 4, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card is unaffected by your opponent's spell effects. So you know what that means? That they cannot use spells on it. So they cannot Econ, they cannot Super Rush Headlong, they can't Order to Charge. That's what I think makes this card probably, I don't want to say meta defining, because it gets over all of those very, very, very common meta cards. So I don't know. And also, it does say that it can't be summoned by other ways, and it is kind of slow to summon them by the effect of Silent Magician level 4. But another thing we are getting in this box is a card called Level Up. Now, this card does specifically state that you can pretty much level up your monster. If you have a Silent Magician level 4 on the field, you can level it up, and you can summon this guy, level 8, from the deck, which is crazy. So you can summon him from the deck, ignoring summoning conditions. I think that is awesome. I think that is a really, really awesome combo. I love it. I thought it was a matter of time before we were gonna get levels. I'm only surprised we didn't get Horus. I mean, Horus is also really, really good. Unfortunately, he's not in here, but whatever. I mean, because he was also pretty decent. But this guy, unaffected by spells, I think that makes him pretty amazing. Also, I didn't even talk about his attack. He has 3,500 attack. He's a big old chorizo, and you're not gonna be able to touch him. And moving on, I think those are the only 2 URs. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of the SRs now. Alright, we're going to talk about the first one that I'm seeing here, and it's a card called Ultimate Insect level 7. Now, this card is not as good as Silent Magician level 8, but I guess it's okay. It's just another variant. It's another level. I think they only really have 2. They only got Silent Magician levels and the Ultimate Insect levels. He's a 2600 beater of a level 7 insect. He does have an effect, and the effect does state, if this card was special summoned by the effect of Ultimate Insect level 5, while this card remains on the field, all your opponent's monsters lose 700 attack and defense. I feel like if I was running a deck, I would want to spam level up to get them all to their highest form. I think you can try to more or less roundabout it and try to get level 5 out by using level up on the weaker one. Still think it's a little bit more roundabout. Definitely Silent Magician is way better, but if you do get this guy out by using the more roundabout method, you're gonna get a huge benefit aside from him just being a 2600 beater. But you can also technically level up into him. He will not get his effect, but it's still a 2600 monster. And that's pretty much it for that card. Alright, moving on. We're looking at another card called Vortex Trooper. Basically, when this card is normal summoned, you can shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck, then draw 2 cards. I mean, it's kind of like a magical mallet / reload for 2 cards. He also has the ability that when this card is destroyed, draw 1 card. So it's basically kind of like a, I don't know, like a dark mimic of some kind, where if it's destroyed, you get to draw a card. So it's pretty much that. But I don't know, I don't think it's that great. Maybe with the combination of a few cards, but I think this card is pretty mediocre. But I don't know, maybe someone's gonna find a way to make it broken in the future. Alright, and moving on, we're looking at some field support. Now this one is going to be a bit interesting because we're starting off with that water support. We're looking at Umi Iruka, or Umi Iruka, however you want to pronounce it. It's basically 500 attack buff for all your water monsters. So it kind of replaces Legendary Ocean, but Legendary Ocean also has the effect that it lowers the levels of all your stuff. This one doesn't, and this one also does not necessarily count as Umi, I believe, because this one is Umi Iruka, not Umi, and it doesn't say in the text that this card is treated as Umi, so you won't get the effects of using it with Daedalus and stuff. So I think it's gonna be good for a very specific type of water deck. I think it would be good in like a Hammer Shark type deck. I really think this card is gonna replace all those kind of cards because it's a bigger buff, and it's just gonna, if you're focusing on beating down your opponent, like with using the sharks, then yeah, I think this card would be better. If you're focusing on Levia Dragon, Daedalus, then yeah, I would recommend using either Umi or Legendary Ocean. But it's still a 500 attack increase, and I think that's still pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple card, so whatever. Moving on, we also have Rising Air Current, which is pretty much the same exact thing, but for wind type monsters. But it does power up Spear Dragon as well. So, I mean, do keep that in mind. It could be a 2400 monster with piercing, so that could be pretty good. Alright, and moving on, we got a card called Emergency Provisions. Now, this is a quick play, and this is one of those cards that you use basically just to gain life points really quick. So, the text on this card, it does state, send any number of spell and trap cards you control to the graveyard. Gain 1000 life points for each card sent. Now, this, like I said, it's basically you're just gonna try to gain life points, probably to prevent yourself from being gamed. I think it's way better than the Griffin's Feather Duster or whatever, which I don't see anyone play, to be honest. So I don't know how much play this card's gonna be seeing, but I guess it can kind of save you in getting some annoying like dead cards off of your back row, and you can at least gain life points off of them. So I don't know, it might be useful in some decks, but as of now, I do not see how they're gonna be able to use this. But whatever. Next card we're looking at is the start of some spell counter support. Now, this is another card that Yugi was using when Yugi showed up, and he would use this card in his Cerberus deck. He would use the card Spell Power Grasp. Now, this card is a really good card. I think I really like this card in a Cerberus type deck because it lets you thin. It's basically, I'm going to go ahead and read the effect. It does state, target one face-up card on the field and that you can place a spell counter on. Place one spell counter on that target. Then you can add one Spell Power Grasp from your deck to your hand. And you can only activate one Spell Power Grasp per turn. So basically what it does, you're going to use it to gain a free counter on your Cerberus. It's going to gain like 1000 attack because it gains 2 counters because you did activate the spell. So, and then you get another one in your hand. So it's going to be a free 1000 attack boost every turn. Definitely going to be really useful in those Cerberus farm decks. Other than that, I don't know how good it could be since spell counters are not that relevant. But you never know, with all the stuff they're getting, they might be seeing some more play. Now we're looking at another card we have called Limit Reverse. Now this card, when I first saw it, I thought this card was garbage, but that's just how it is with Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes you gotta look further into these cards and see what kind of combos you can make with them. Now, this card's text does read, target one monster with 1,000 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon in an attack position. If that target is changed to defense position, destroy it and this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that target. When the target is destroyed, destroy this card. So basically, they're kind of tied to each other. If you destroy one, it gets rid of the other. But I was thinking, what if you want that weak monster with 1,000 or less attack to be destroyed? I was thinking, first thing I thought of was Worm. You could definitely use this thing with Worm and just summon him again after he got destroyed, and you're gonna get another mill because of this card. So I think that's pretty cool. Other things that you can use it with, you could also probably use it with Exploder Dragon, so you can get an extra destruction. So I think that's pretty awesome. And for other type of decks that use kind of like the tribute mechanic, it kind of works like Treeborn Frog, where it brings something back so you can use it as a tribute fodder or something. That can work as well. So it is a pretty interesting card, especially if you run weaker level monsters for them to be tributed or something. Alright, and moving on, that was pretty much all the SRs. Now, we're also going to be talking about a few of the rares, just because some of the rares in this set are actually pretty decent. And I guess I'll only talk about a few of them. Obviously, we do have like Silent Magician level 4, the Ultimate Insect series, which is like Insect level 5, Insect level 1. But I think Insect level 1 is more of a normal or something. But other cards that I think are pretty cool. We're looking at a lot of cards that support a lot of different stuff. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that supports like water, like Deep Diver, which Deep Diver, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about his effect a bit, because this card is interesting. This card does state, at the end of the battle phase, if this card was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, choose one monster card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. I think that's amazing in more than just water decks. I think this could be good in any type of deck. You rely on a very specific monster. This guy can help you, I guess, try to more or less search him out. Moving on from the Deep Diver, we also have a card called Alchemist of Black Spells. Now, this is one of those cards that I think Yugi was using as well in one of his spell counter decks. So this thing is basically, when it switches battle positions, you get to put a spell counter on one of your things. Also has like 1800 defense, so it's a pretty decent card. And moving on, we have Gagagigo. It's got a weird name, but it's a water reptile 4-star 1850. It's kind of like the card we got before, the Flaming Impachi, I believe it was. Blazing Impachi, Flaming Impachi, whichever one, where it basically, it's a vanilla monster with 1850 attack, which is pretty strong, but now water is getting that, so I think that's pretty cool. Of course, we have the cards that I was talking about before that I'm really looking forward to getting, like cards called Level Up. I think Level Up is really, really cool, because it just gets you the next level of whatever you're looking for. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You could just use this card and get a free like Silent Magician level up or Insect level up. And that's pretty much it for that. Other cards I wanted to talk about, we do have a spell that works with Silent Magician, and it is a card called Silent Burning. During either player's battle phase, if you control a Silent Magician monster and you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, each player draws cards until they have 6 cards in their hand. This card's activation and effect cannot be negated. You can banish this card from your graveyard and add one Silent Magician monster from your deck to your hand. I think that's pretty cool. I really, really think this is cool. But this card looks pretty interesting just because of the fact that it lets you draw until you have 6 cards. And that is pretty rare in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's that card. And moving on, we have another card that when I saw it, I thought it was really cheeky. Since we're getting so many field spells, they have another card that basically kind of not really counters, but it works around the fact that everybody is using field spells, called PopUp. Now, this really cutesy card is really good in the right situation. The text does say, if your opponent controls a card in their field zone and you do not, activate one field spell card from your deck. You can only activate one pop-up per turn. I think that's really cheeky. You basically, it's a quick play. You can activate it on your opponent's turn. So if they attack into you, you're using one of those kind of beatdown type decks that I was talking about earlier. Maybe it's like water beatdown, fire beatdown, wind beatdown, whatever it is. And your opponent has their own type of field spell on whatever. Quickly chain PopUp, and you can get a field spell from your deck, and it just activates, and that'll give you that instant buff that you will need. I think this card is pretty cheeky, but it could be dead in a lot of situations. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool card that they added. It's just a very risky card, but yeah, and that's probably why it's a rare. But moving on, not many more cards I wanted to talk about, but this one I did want to talk about because it looks interesting. At first I thought you can use it with farm decks or something, but nah, not really. This one is called Unified Front. Now, this card does state, discard one monster and target one face-up monster on the field. Its attack and defense becomes the discarded monster's attack and defense until the end of this turn. And monsters you control cannot attack directly during the turn you activate this card. I think this card can be pretty cool on a turn when your opponent attacks into you. You pitch a Blue Eyes, your weak monster on the field becomes Blue Eyes or something. You can also technically use it with your Spear Dragon because it does deal piercing as well. You pitch a Blue Eyes, it becomes 3,000 and it deals piercing. I think that'd be pretty cheeky. Also, it did get attacked, so I mean you switch it to defense, and then on your turn you can switch it back to attack. I think all these cards are very planned out. They're all planned out to kind of work with each other. So there's that. And I think that's pretty much it for the rares. There are more rares and normals and stuff in the set, but I'll go ahead and save those, leave them up to like kind of like a surprise, because some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are pretty interesting, and I am seeing a lot of cards like for instance, one of the normal cards in this set is a card called Evil Blast that I did see that it basically is when your opponent special summons a monster, or when you special summon a monster on their side of the field, you get to chain it, equip it, it gains attack, and they take 500 damage each turn. I instantly thought of Lava Golem, which I thought it would be pretty cheeky, where they take an extra 500 per turn. I don't know, especially if you're going to be locking down that Lava Golem. I think that card could be pretty interesting. But that's pretty much it for today. I mean, I just wanted to talk about those. Aside from that, I did kind of want to briefly mention something, because I didn't want to make a whole other video about this, but we did get some new updates, and the updates are talking about some really promising things. And the most recent one we're getting, like I think in the next update, which is probably soon, it could be possible that by the time you're watching this, we already have the new update, and it is an event called Duelist Chronicles, Set Sail for the Kingdom, which I think they were talking about like a lot of new abilities being added to the game. A lot of them were like boxes or something, which look like going to be like inherent field spells. So like maybe certain areas are going to be like, you're going to get like a Umi or something, that you're going to start a duel and you're already going to have Umi out or whatever. Also that we're going to be able to get a new character from that. I don't know which character it could be, but I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hoping it's Yugi, kind of hoping it's like legit Yugimoto. But I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna add him during that event. But I don't know. They're just gonna make someone playable. So it could be anybody from the characters we've seen to a completely new character that we have no idea. Aside from that, we have more information about the mid-September stuff. It looks like we're gonna get a new Super Duelist coming out, and from what it looks like, from the little quote they have, it looks like it's gonna be Rex Raptor. They're gonna have a rampaging Rex Raptor, and he's gonna come out. And I don't know, I'm actually pretty excited because there's a lot of really good Dino support, especially in the TCG. If they can bring at least 10% of that support into Duel Links, I think Dinos would be meta again, like insanely meta. So, I mean, there's that. And then in late September, looks like we're going to be getting more stuff as well. This is something big, actually. Towards the end of the month, we're going to be getting something. It does state on here that we're going to be getting the addition of a new world, addition of new characters, new missions, and special login bonuses. Now, when they say new world, I don't know how to justify it. I mean, from what I'm thinking, it legitimately sounds like they're adding GX, but it could be like a clickbait type thing. Could be by new world, they could be talking about maybe like a new zone when you're like battling the normal scrub duelists, the random duelists. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of stupid. But I don't know. You never know. Because I do feel like in around October we're gonna be getting something for Halloween, which I do believe is gonna be Bones. So we're gonna be getting 2 new characters in the next 2 months. And but also I did want to talk about the whole Bones thing, because I don't know if they're gonna add GX and then go right back to adding like Bones and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the way they're stating it, addition of a new world, it might mean something completely different. I think they're going to be adding maybe like a new type of duel or something, or there's going to be some kind of thing for new world. I just don't think it's going to be GX. If it is GX, I'd be really excited, because I mean that just means more characters to unlock, more gems, more abilities to get new cards basically. So I think that'd be pretty cool. And that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to talk about all the updates real quick, and I hope you guys enjoyed the list of the new cards. Let me know if there's any cards you're looking forward to getting, and let me know if you guys are looking forward to GX if it is coming. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day, and see you guys!